World Amateur Boxing Championships have come to Asia for the first time in the sport's history. 7 days of competition, and we're down now to the gold medal finals. At 69 kilos or 152 pounds, welterweight class, it's Sherzod Husanov of Uzbekistan against Lorenzo Aragon of Cuba. There's Husanov in the red, Aragon, the defending world champion, in the blue. This is a rematch. Husanov and Aragon met in the semifinals in the 2001 World Championships in Belfast. Aragon won en route to winning one of Cuba's 7 gold medals in those championships.
Boy, and Aragon is a fun guy to watch, too. Your typical classic Cuban-style boxer. Boxes, punches, and is ready to work for four rounds. 2 minutes a round and right in there. Doesn't ask for any quarter, doesn't give any.
Coach, he was tested on the way to this final. In his second fight at the championships, he faced the 2000 European champion Bülent Ulusoy of Turkey, and Aragon eked out a 1-point decision.
It just goes to show you, I mean, these guys find a way to win. They just find a way to win, whether it's by 1 point, 5 points, 10 points, they find a way to win. The conditioning is beyond compare. I mean, they're able to go the four 2-minute rounds, and regardless, in every change that has existed in amateur boxing, whether we've gone from the traditional scoring to the computer scoring, when we went from 3-minute rounds to 5 2-minute rounds, back to 4 2-minute rounds, any way they do it, they find a way to win and they adapt to it.
Now, you're quick to criticize me for the overuse of a phrase, but I don't know any other way to say it other than they are the state of the art in amateur boxing.
What we're going to have to see now is what happens to the program now that Alcide Segura is gone. I think that's probably a key thing, as in any sport, when such a key fixture and such a leader who's taken a team and developed that dominance over the 20-some-odd years that he was head coach of the Cuban team, and now they're completely into a new program with a new coach, and you know they have the depth in the coaching, but is it really the same as when Segura was there?
Yeah, the head coach now is Cervalli Fuentes. He replaced Segura, who gave up the head coaching job after the Sydney Olympics. Segura's retirement, I would think, coincidental with that of Felix Savon.
Oh, absolutely.
Fuentes had been coaching, or was on loan to Argentina, but came back to take over from Segura.
And who wouldn't? I mean, would you rather be coaching the Argentinian team or come back and coach a powerhouse like the Cubans? But, you know, again, he's under a pressure situation as well, as are all the fighters. You have to live up to the bar that your predecessors have established for you.
Aragon with the lead after 1 round of this welterweight final.
Almost an afterthought. You know, we're seeing Aragon just work, controlling the tempo, and again, pitching a shutout. And pitching a shutout in an era where the judges are pressing the button. They're scoring blows, and he's still able to get away with a 6-0 lead. Not 12-6, not having a 6-point advantage, 6-0, which means in 2 minutes, Husanov didn't land a scoring blow that 3 judges saw.
Mentioned the Cubans placing 4 boxers in the finals, but it's not been a cakewalk by any standard for the world's #1 boxing power. A few of the country's fighters were upset early, and there probably was no bigger upset, Coach, than the Olympic and defending world champion Guillermo Rigondeaux losing to Agassi Mammadov of Azerbaijan. That loss stunned the Cubans, and it might have turned up the pressure on boxers like Aragon.
Boy, I'd have liked to get a hold of that one and see how that one came over, because Rigondeaux, boy, is he powerful. I mean, he looked like to be the next most dominant star on the Cuban team.
Well, a scoring shot has been counted for Husanov of Uzbekistan, but Aragon quickly back with the point that reestablishes the 6-point lead. Aragon finished off the USA's only gold medal hopeful when he beat Andre Berto in the semifinals. Berto, the last remaining American in this tournament. In fact, Coach, 7 Americans lost their first fights in these worlds. Even if it wasn't entirely the A team for the USA here, that has to be counted as an enormous disappointment.
I'm not sure about that. I'm going to wait and see what happens at the Pan American Games before I pass judgment on that. And I also want to wait before passing judgment on the Cuban performance here as well, because again, like I said at the outset, that the most important thing is the Pan American Games coming up, because they serve as the Olympic qualifier for North America. And I think that's where we're going to see what kind of position the U.S. is in and what kind of team the Cubans are going to have going into that tournament, because they need to qualify. Although the Cubans don't have to qualify for the Olympics, certainly you can rest assured that they're saving their best guys to meet up with the Americans at the Pan American Games.
Although most of the Cuban names we recognize, this would appear to be, for the most part, their A team.
Yeah, but I think, you know, for them, everything is an A team. You know, it doesn't really matter. They're going to show up and they're going to do well at the Worlds, and they're going to come back and try to even improve that at the Pan American Games. Their preparation is somewhat different from I guess what the Canadians or the Americans would be. They want to peak. The Americans or the Canadians want to peak at the Pan Ams. The Cubans seem to be peaking all the time.
Well, back to this welterweight gold medal final. Aragon of Cuba in the blue. All business here is he's now got a 5-point lead.
Husanov working his way back into this one, though. Able to get going from not able to land a scoring blow in the first to getting 6 now.
An uneventful road to the final for Husanov. His only real test was an 18-14 decision over his opponent from Kazakhstan in the quarterfinals. Second round comes to an end, and Aragon leading by 5.
But again, you take a look at somebody like Husanov, you take a look at some of the other fighters. All these guys would have made up fighters on the Soviet team, and now here they are, each in their own right, performing at the top level, representing countries like Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, and, you know, performing well and vying for a world title. I mean, here he is in the finals.